Hi, boys and girls. It's been a long time since I've seen you on here using a live video. I'm very hopeful that you're going to really enjoy this art project. We are going to be creating a still life. And a still life is a type of artwork that many artists across time, across our lives, across this world love to create. And a still life is when you draw a picture of something in front of you that is real. So you may draw a soccer ball or a stuffed animal or a banana. There are many things that you can pick up and put on the table in front of you and make a still life. Famous artists who've made still lifes. Here's a great example of one by Paul Cézanne. This still life shows a table. And what else do you see? Maybe you see the cloth that is white, all crumpled. It always makes a really fun thing to draw. Maybe you see that plate with the pieces of fruit stacked on top of each other. I hope you also see the different vases and pitchers and little ceramic container with a lid. There's a lot of different objects that are on this table, and Paul Cézanne painted this picture about 150 years ago. And do you think that these objects were real? Were they really there? Did he really look at them? I wonder what time of day it was. Was it nighttime with a candle? Was it early morning when the sun was rising? I think his painting has this beautiful look because of the colors, and the lighting doesn't seem super bright, but it really has this wonderful feeling. So it brings those objects to an important light, rather than them just, oh, it's just an object, oh, it's just an apple, oh, it's just a pear, oh, it's just a peach. Well, now they're kind of important. There's no people in this picture. Do you see any? So here is another painting by another famous artist. This one's an American painter. He painted this about 100 years ago. This is artist Mr. Senzi. And this one is bigger. So I'm going to back up out of the picture here. Has a lot more objects in it. Those objects tell a story. He put them together, and they tell a story. I mean, you've got this violin here and these pieces of paper, and what do you notice on these pieces of paper? Those have music notes on them. Books that are stacked and wrapped. I wonder if this is the table of a student. That's how kids used to carry their books to school long ago. They didn't have backpacks. And then this, I wonder who that person is. Is that the artist? Is that person a musician? Is that person someone that maybe this student is learning about? So it's a curious painting, and all of these objects were picked by Mr. Senzi to put together in an important way. So for your project, this is a harvest still life, so I want you to pick objects that either are important to you right now in your home. It's the end of the fall. You know, we only have about 20 days left of fall before it switches over to winter. So it's kind of a fun time. We're inside more. We might find some more objects that we're using more, that are really fun, that we really enjoy. Maybe our favorite toy or our favorite food or our favorite snack. And some things that I love to draw in the fall time especially are things that are from the harvest. So I have, for my still life, this is a gourd. Isn't it cool? It's like a pumpkin. It's called a gooseneck gourd. And I just collected some objects. So I want you to collect 3 objects when you're done watching my video. 3. 1, 2, 3. And I have this awesome piece of Indian corn that I saved. If you were in first grade with me last year and the year before when you were in first grade, so you'd be in 3rd grade this year, you may remember drawing these. We got to see them in real life, and that's what a still life artist would do. They would put things in front of them. They would take time to look at them, and they would draw them while they're looking at them, okay? And my last object, remember I said you need 3 objects. My last object is some dried flowers. These are actually mini roses, aren't they pretty? So I picked some objects that had different shapes. It's fun for an artist to try drawing things that are unique and different. So try different shapes, different colors, and then let's see if we can put them together in a picture. So here we go. I'm going to get my piece of paper. And I'm going to go ahead and start drawing. When I put those together in a drawing, I'm going to need a pencil and I'm going to need an eraser. And then after I get all of those things, I'm ready to draw. I have my 3 objects. I have my pencil and eraser and a piece of paper to do my drawing. Did you set your objects up or did you just put them on the table? What do you think Mr. Senzi did? Did he just put them on the table? Or did he set them up? He set them up. That's called a composition. So you want to put them together in a certain way. Maybe I'm going to do that right now. Maybe I want them to go like one in front of the other. Maybe I want some to be laying over on top. That's going to be really fun to try to draw because they are now going over each other. How do you draw that? Maybe I want one pointing this way and the flowers in front. So that's the first thing that I need to do before I can start drawing. I have my objects. I have to compose them and set them up in a certain way. When I'm all finished putting them all together, this is what it will look like. I'm going to pick up my camera for a second and show you. I'm going to be looking at them from this angle. There they are. So I'm going to need them in front of me so that I can keep looking at them and draw them. Now I've done a still life too. I want to show you it. This still life is of the Indian corn that I showed you before. And I chose to use watercolor paint to do this one. So here it is. This one is Indian corn that I painted. I drew it with a pencil first. And I looked at the Indian corn. It looks so real. Let me hold it up and show you how close they can be. I did use a different color, and an artist can choose to use different colors if they want. But do you think I got the real shape of the corn? Do you think I got the real shape of the husk? There's the husk up here. Do you think I got a good texture for the corn kernels going down? Let me show you closer. So an artist who does a still life is really going to take their time to use their eyes and look very closely for all of those important details when they're drawing a still life. So here's 2 words that I want to see in your artwork today. I'm sorry they might be backwards in the camera, but the first one says texture. And texture, let me move this over a little bit. Texture is the way something feels. So I want to draw this corn in my picture to have this texture, this bumpy texture. If you're doing a stuffed animal in your still life and it's super fuzzy, how are you going to make your drawing of your stuffed animal look like it has a fuzzy texture? It's really fun to try to do that. So texture, I want to see some texture in your still life drawing. And where do we start? How do we know what to draw first? The first thing we're going to draw is the shape, whatever shape it is, because this corn is tricky. It has lots of parts. This gourd is tricky. It has a very funny shape. So the word contour is the other important word I want you to know. How can you get this shape? This is called the contour, and the contour goes around. So whenever you have an object in front of you, look for the shape of it that goes around it. And you can draw that on your paper. If you're not looking at all of it, don't look at everything. That's too much. Start by looking at the shape that goes around it. What shape is that? Well, it's not a circle, right? Every object has its own special shape. And so that's what we want to look for first. We want to look for the contour and what shape do we draw? And we want to look at the texture. Now, before I go and you go start doing your still life art and finding your objects, I wanted to show you a couple other still lifes that Mrs. Vining made. So here's another still life I made. This one is an ink pad and a bag of Cheetos. Do you like Cheetos? I do. And then there's even a background in my still life, just like the other famous artist, Paul Cézanne and Mr. Seska. They included a background. Like, what is your object on? what is behind your object. Okay, and then the last one I want to show you is that you can even zoom in on your objects like this one. This is a still life I painted. I used paint for this one. And this one has a gourd here and a box, a teapot, an egg, a towel, a piece of rope, some random things. You can really get creative with your objects. Have fun with this. And pick some objects that are important to you, like me. I love this guy. This is Mr. Happy. Maybe he'll be in my next still life. Who knows? But make sure you send me your artwork when you're all finished, and have a great time working on your observational skills and drawing a beautiful still life. Bye.